Hey guys, here we go into a video on Caleb Plant's training for his media day workout. We're going to be taking a look at his pad work. We're going to take a look at this defensive thing, whatever that is, and some shadow boxing. So we're going to go ahead and get into it and going to be looking at his shadow boxing. And the first thing that I don't like, again, we fight how we train, right? So a little bit of jabbing and then kind of a pendulum step motion, right, off the line here, where he kind of pivots, right? He just doesn't move his feet with the pendulum step, but shifting his weight to the front foot, taking that step, bringing his leg around, right? Kind of like a front foot pivot, but toward his opponent, right? And then this one, which is supposed to be away from his opponent. Now, this move here is, if he does this in front of Canelo, is going to get him knocked out. 100%. He's going to be getting hit by some big right hands, or when he sits down here, boom, he's going to be shifting his weight finally, slowly, and he's going to walk onto a left hook. Now, if he fights like that and he shifts his weight in these little rotational movements here, eventually Canelo's going to figure out that his head stays in the same spot for so long during these beats, right? During that rhythm, okay? And that's very bad, okay? It's very, very, very bad. Now, some things that we want to focus on here. His hands open, right? Looking to control the line, all right? Now, this is very important. We're going to look for consistencies of this throughout his training and stuff, because there's a few things, a few other habits that I don't really like that are not really in line with this idea of training. And we're going to talk about them, when we get there. But just a real quick update also. This week we were watching Jaron Ennis versus Sergey Lipinets on Patreon. And really, really great fight. Really, really, really fun and interesting to watch. Check it out. There should be a training video going up. I'll be doing it probably later today. It'll be in the members only section if you guys want to check it out. It'll be some things that Jaron Ennis can work on, or if you want to check out the whole Patreon or the whole video, check it out on Patreon. But $10 to sign up, $10 a month, yada yada. And there are hundreds of training videos and hundreds of film studies on Patreon that you get access for only $10 a month, okay? Hundreds. And all equally as good as the one on defensive stuff that I did yesterday, okay? These are long film study boxing lessons, okay? It's very, very cool to teach you to kind of work and learn to fight from the ground up. Now, this is some interesting kind of shadow boxing, right? Now, what is he doing? First off, we fight how we train, right? Here he is getting into rhythm, and now here he is ready to box, right? He's on the line, and he's going to be circling to his right, okay? This is very important because I don't think that Canelo has ever fought anyone who can circle to the left, or to the right, okay? Now, only people who circle to the left. It's very, very common. The only people who usually circle to the right are southpaws, right? And then they usually pivot on the front foot and get stuck there, and then they get beat up, so they don't even do it correctly. But Caleb Plant showing that he does know how to fight going to the right here, controlling the space, understanding that when he moves his weight to the back foot, because he's going to pendulum step, right? He's transferring his weight to the back foot here. Now he's going to pendulum, shift his weight to the front foot, right? All these little motions here, pendulum step, right? The root of this move is the pendulum step. Now, when he makes this move, control the line. Pendulum step, control the line. Pendulum step, control the... Well, he didn't do it there. But this is a very, very, very important idea in the theory of your combat sequences. When you're trying to chain your positions together and you're trying to learn, I'll say kind of what you're supposed to be doing in your shadow boxing, okay? Now, real quick, in my Vimeo store, I have a bunch of boxing packages, a shadow boxing one included here, and here's some of the comments, just some of the stuff that people are saying about it. Here's Brandon here, who purchased it and then wound up joining my Patreon, who I later did the actual partner drill series with him and his brother. So he learned to shadow box with me. If you guys want to check out his partner drills and stuff, it's very, very cool stuff. But here with the Fouts Boxing, How to Shadow Box Mastery, Punch and Move Like the Greats. Not only are there these videos here with Line Drill Seminar, which is going to teach you how to use my Fouts Boxing line drill, but there's a punch technique seminar that's going to teach you the root and cause of your punches, where you get power, and how to get the most out of the line drill that we separate so much of our boxing in, okay? And then there's a bunch of line drills, a bunch of things, a bunch of techniques. You get to watch Theo do a bunch of them. And then a bunch of ways to transform your line drill stuff into actual boxing drills. And then I just wanted to highlight here, there's a black belt boxing video here. It's a 1-hour boxing seminar that I used to teach the beginning of my black belt boxing program, which is Pendulum Boxing, okay? It teaches what shadow boxing is, what we're trying to do with our shadow boxing, and why we want to shadow box, okay? It's a 1-hour video, and in the video, we're going to highlight Floyd Mayweather's shadow boxing, Andre Ward's shadow boxing, Tim Bradley's shadow boxing, Canelo, Errol Spence. We go over some Mike Tyson, Roberto Duran. There's a lot of shadow boxing in there, and a lot of theory, and a lot of stuff to kind of connect a lot of the dots, right? So it's a very, very cool video. And then another video that I just added is the line drill series for sliding and learning to step with your punches, okay? And you can learn to do it in the Fouts Boxing line drill with some very, very, very simple and easy drills. So in this video, you get to see me and Theo practicing, doing some drills, and I teach some theory, some positioning, and some really simple ways for you guys to learn to step and move like your punches, okay? Or step and move with your punches. Now, one interesting thing about my Vimeo series is instead of creating new Vimeo series every time I have a new thing, oh, here's a new, you know, I'm going to create a couple of standard ones, and then I'm going to be adding to them as time goes on. And right here, this is just one example of one of those things. So if you guys have already purchased it, like many of you guys have, you can go back and you can re-watch these videos, okay? And they'll still be in the library for you guys to check out as I go back and I add more stuff to them, okay? I want to point out, Brandon wasn't particularly happy with it. He was happy enough, actually, after he bought it to join my Patreon, and, you know, but he said, oh, man, I did think there was going to be more, you know. But that's actually going to bring us to our partner drills here with Brandon real quick. And it's 4 hours of instructional video teaching you guys all the really interesting things that you're going to be doing and troubleshooting and, I'll say, learning in your partner drills here. So we have them send in some videos. As you can see, it's 30 videos long, okay? 4 hours of video. And one of the really cool things that you get to learn, right, with these drills is not only your hand placement, your head placement, but your foot placement as well. How to shift your weight across the line, how to control the line as you do it, how to get on the line with your opponent, and all those really interesting things, but you get to learn it from the standpoint of a beginner, okay? Him and his brother had almost zero boxing experience before purchasing my Shadow Boxing Mastery, and then doing these drills. So all the technique that they do have is learned through that package and then this package that I did with them as well. But it's 4 hours of content. And I want to say that, you know, oftentimes when you learn something new, you're learning from someone that you obviously know is better than you. And this means that fundamentally, they're not going to be making any of the mistakes that you're going to encounter on the way to learning these things, okay? And it's very important sometimes to be able to learn from less experienced people. And as you can see, it's 4 hours of video. Here it is. They sent me some videos, drills. They're going to be doing the drill. And here's 12 minutes and 45 seconds of me teaching them how to do this set of drills better. How to better position their feet. How to better position their hands. How to better interact with their opponent. How to better do it. And then here's a 16-minute version. Here's a 21-minute. Okay, and it's teaching them how to do each drill step by step. Okay, so you can get all the way to the end. You can learn how to control the line. And it also teaches you how to do all of this stuff against southpaws as well. Okay, this is southpaw and orthodox. Brandon and his brother learned to train both sides through my boxing Vimeo package, my Shadow Boxing Vimeo package. And yeah, anyway, just real quick, For a limited time during the holidays, all of my Vimeo packages are 30% off with promo code 30. So that's going to be this partner drills here. That's going to be the Shadowboxing Mastery. As you can see, this gentleman was very impressed with his punch technique and the things he was learning. Mars Rios here. Every package that he has incorporates underlying skills and movement to help with boxing, build power, put combinations together, transition weight, and so much more. Okay? They're great packages, okay? And again, 30% off with a promo code 30. And then, here we go. We have the Boxing Pendulum Boxing Drill Package, the Boxing is a Dance Black Belt Boxing Program, okay? And you've heard Teofimo Lopez quote me, boxing is a dance, okay? You guys can see him quoting that. I'm very likely that he's practiced or checked out this Vimeo series as well. Now, a couple of the the reviews and stuff, just so you guys can see, absolutely destroys the myth that punchers are born, okay? Pendulum boxing is the art in which you learn to chain your weight transitions together to get maximum amount of power while you're shifting your weight, okay? And it's going to teach you mechanically, again, in a very similar way from the ground up, from a very, very basic drill here, right? To teach you how to put all these drills together. Now, this version here is actually how to do it on the heavy bag. These are heavy bag seminars, and they will teach you how to do, how to work the heavy bag and how to move around the heavy bag and hit a moving heavy bag, okay? This is a heavy bag drill package that accompanies the Pendulum Boxing package. And this here is a video that I use to teach Pendulum Boxing to my Pendulum Boxers in Patreon. One of them you guys have seen a few times, T-Ball. He's actually competing right now. He stopped his first round opponent in the second round. Or, yeah, his first, you know how it goes, round by round, right? But his first round opponent, he stopped him. He beat the crap out of that guy. He got so many standing 8 counts, and they just stopped the fight. He was just getting smacked up a lot. So anyway, I can't wait to show you guys some film because he looks so good. He looks so good. And then we have how to box. Expert level striking, boxing, and pad work. It's the fundamentals for learning the pads, learning to hold the pads, learning to hit the pads, learning how to transition your weight. Again, it's a ground up approach to teach you how to use the pads, okay? And again, it also has some very good reviews from here, a professional coach and fighter himself. If you guys want to check it out. Again, promo code 30, and again, it's 30% off. This one's normally $149.99. Promo code 30 will get you 30% off. This one is normally quite expensive. It takes a long time to learn these drills. It's a very, very high-level thing, but again, 30% off for a limited time. If you guys have a friend or two that you guys want to go in on and you guys want to learn and practice, I highly encourage that, especially if you're looking to buy the partner drills or the pad work drills. Now, the partner and the pad work drills, you can do all of that stuff by yourself as well, and you don't actually need anyone, but it helps, obviously, to have someone hold the pads for you and someone to give you a visual aid of what's going on in the partner drills. And then that brings us to my last Vimeo package at the moment. This one is not 30% off, but I just released it. It's Mastering the Double In Bag, learning the footwork to move around the bag, and the Pendulum Step. It's only $49.99, but if you join my Patreon at the beginning of the month, it's $50 to sign up for private coaching. I'll send you a promo code for a free copy of this, okay? So if you're interested in learning it anyway, and you would also like some boxing coaching, okay? An opportunity to kind of see what's going on in Patreon, an opportunity to kind of see what the coaching is like. I take my coaching very, very, very seriously, so if you do join and you do, want to work, there's a lot of work for you to do, okay? A lot of things. I don't waste any time. I will get videos back to you the next or the same day, okay? I highly pride myself on how quickly I can help people develop. So, and here's some great reviews from the Double In Bag Mastery. As you can see, teaching you guys how to fight on it. It's a really, really cool boxing program, okay? And everything that I put out, again, you guys, I'm going to be having things to add to them later. But I don't want to be, again, just adding, oh, here's a new package here, here's a new package here, here's a new package. I want you guys to be able to get what you came for when you purchase something from me. When you learn something from me, I want you to learn it. Okay. So anyway, yeah, that's all the sales stuff today. We're gonna go back into some more shadow boxing now. I know. I got you guys good, right? Patreon commercial again, 30% off, you guys. Promo code 30. We'll get back into the video. Now again, circling to the right, okay? And this is very, very important. Now, beautiful. I want you to see what he's doing here. He's controlling with the jab on the back foot and then slipping control to the front foot across the line, okay? Showing a more deeper pendulum step motion. Now, this is going to be a motion that he's going to be using here to be setting up left hooks against Canelo, okay? So let's imagine just real quick. He's circling this way, control here, and Canelo looks to shoot a jab at him, okay? Here comes the jab. Now, instead of interacting with it and just moving away, he's going to slip that now and get his head to the front foot, and then allows him to get into a position to throw a left hook, okay? So he may be trying to set up some countering opportunities, but circling to the right has a lot of very, very powerful utilities that you don't often get to see when you don't actually fight going to the right. Now, again, it's also going to be a place where he can practice his pull counters very, very, very effectively, as he's already dragging his weight away from his opponent, okay? Now, this move here, again, if he does this in front of his opponent, he's going to get hurt, okay? So that's a move that he needs to avoid. And if he's going to do it, he needs to make sure that he's not in range to be pendulum stepped on. Because if he gives that position away, boom, and he allows Canelo to close the distance here on him and be on the back foot, sliding forward, he's going to find a way to cross his line with a big right hand with a body shot here or an overhand shot here. Now, again, I want to point out, Caleb Plant getting his weight to the front foot here in a little bit of a position one here, okay? But I want to point out where his hand position is here, okay? He's not looking to control the position. He's looking here to have his weight down, right? Maybe to throw a strike, right? Maybe. But he's not looking to interact with the line. And again, this is going to be very important as we move on. Actually, I just want to show you guys, because we're going to come back to the shadow boxing a little bit later. I want to point out, not moving his head here. No head movement. A little bit here with the pull counter-like motion right there. Pulling back. Jab, pull. A little bit of transitioning his weight. A little bit, right? But most of his head kind of staying kind of in the center of his line, okay? Now, real quick, we're going to go take a look here at this drill toy here. Thank you, guys. Fight Hub. Appreciate it. Snack, thanks for getting Caleb into shape. Now, this is some of the footwork that Caleb Plant thinks is so valuable to his boxing that's going to get him hurt, okay? Number one, if he's sliding away from Canelo this way, okay, what's the difference between somebody doing this move here, what he's doing here, and then someone doing it while pumping the jab out? Have you guys ever seen that? That guy taking a step with every one of his punches, sliding this way, jab, 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 right? Caleb Plant's just not jabbing, but his footwork is just as dangerous for him, okay? Now, what do I mean? Well, if he moves in this position, okay, and he's shifting his weight this way, and he gets feinted here, right? So let's watch this thing move, boom. And he ducks below the waist and let's say, oh, he's circling, here we go, this way. God damn it. I don't know why he doesn't throw it at him here, but see here he does this move expecting it to be here. If he gets feinted while he's moving this way, and this is when Canelo's going to look to feint him, right? You think Canelo didn't learn something from Floyd Mayweather, right? Getting on the line with your opponent is dangerous. And if he finds a time where Canelo or Caleb Plant is going to cross his feet and he feints him here, Caleb's going to be shooting his weight this way so that he can duck his head this way because his feet are not in boxing position. Again, he's trying to move positions too quickly with his feet. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, right? But if he's in range to be feinted, he's going to move his weight this way. He's going to be eating big body shots here that he will not be able to defend, okay? And he's going to be throwing all of his weight into it, okay? It's going to be very, very dangerous for him if he decides to use that. Now, this way, however, if he decides to fight Canelo moving this way, see this motion here? This is a very, very similar motion if he were to come up here to a pull counter, okay? So while I don't think that Caleb Plant wants to be doing all of these motions here, there are some of these motions that are congruent with very effective and high-level boxing, okay? Now, this drill I do not like at all, okay? I want to think back at the shadow boxing drill and how when he came to the front foot and he was in the front foot position. Actually, let's go ahead and just bring it back. Let's go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. Here, okay? His hand is down, all right? We just saw Jamel Herring absolutely get destroyed by Shakur Stevenson just because Shakur Stevenson had his gloves in a better place to control the line when he wasn't actively engaging with his opponent, right? Static defense, okay? Now, because Caleb Plant doesn't have his hand in a position in which he's able to guard the line statically, he's not going to be able to defend this position as often. Now, I want to point out, again, he's in the same exact position on this tool. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like this tool. Now, Anthony Joshua used a very, very similar tool and to learn his active guard and learn slipping, okay? And I want to point out that Anthony Joshua also had zero control of the line when he slipped to the front foot. He was not able to get his weight to the front foot. He was not able to control the line with his rear hand. Notice he's not controlling the line here, right? He's not catching it. He's only practicing slipping and bringing his hand down. Number one, you don't just slip and bring your weight to the front foot without bringing your hand with you to defend. Because if you just got feinted here with the right hand, the left hook is the next punch, okay? So if this was a feint and you just slip this way, you're getting knocked out. This fight is over, okay? Now, Anthony Joshua didn't have to worry about that so much because Alexander Usyk not only is smaller than him, but the left hand comes from so much farther away when your opponent's a southpaw that he wasn't always needing to worry about that shot. But Canelo is a left hook puncher for sure. And if he's able to feint Caleb Plant with this shot here, and again, one of Canelo's favorite punches, right, is that jumping forward with the right hand, and then he throws the left hook, right? But he brings the right hand real high, right? If he feints Caleb Plant with this shot here, pushes him off of his line, and he doesn't bring his hand with him like he's practicing, he's gonna get knocked out. Okay? It's just gonna happen. And again, this is a fun and interesting tool, but if you don't learn how to properly, number one, change positions, bring your hands with you, okay? Or change positions and transfer your weight, okay? I want you to pay attention to how he brings his weight here to the back foot. And at no point does he ever bring his heel to the ground, okay? Let's just go ahead and watch that here through all of these motions here. Heel off the ground, no matter what side he's on, right? Now, I want to say what he's doing is very difficult, okay? It's not easy. Even for someone who has great weight transitions, to do it on the ball of their foot like this is very difficult. But the thing is, he's practicing doing this drill here with all of his positions being shortcutted with this ball on the front foot, or ball on the back foot being on the ball, right? Instead of getting any of his weight to the heel. Again, this stops him from actually finishing the back foot position, which is very, very bad for him because, number one, the back foot position is the one that he needs to pull counter, okay? And we know that he's not going to be fighting Canelo Alvarez on the front foot. He doesn't have a good front foot. He only has a good back foot, okay? Now, we also know that Caleb Plant, for the most part, keeps his head in the center line most of the time, okay? Now, I want you to think about this idea as being congruent with the idea that he doesn't transfer his weight to the back foot. Again, watch him here. Look at his heel on the back foot. Boop, off the ground. Nothing wrong with it in this position. And then now it's on the back. And he never brings his weight to the ground. Here, here, pendulum, right? Looks like it touches a little bit here, right? As he's moving through. But not consistently, I want to say, getting his weight to the back foot. Even here, slipping to the back foot here, rolling, it's not too bad. It's not bad, okay? But I want you guys to know that that's a very important part of transitioning your weight to the back foot and having a good pendulum step is getting that weight to the back foot. And again, that pendulum step there, all in the ball of that foot here, right? Boom, boom, keep that weight here. Anyway, something very concerning about this drilling, right, is that he doesn't bring his hands up. And I don't want to say he doesn't, right? I don't want to say he doesn't. But I want to say that it's very, very difficult for him to do it with this tool, with the way that this tool works, okay? And the way that he has to interact with it. Now, again, look at the weight on the back foot, okay? Look at how he doesn't bring his weight back down to the ground. A little bit there, a little bit there. It's not too bad. But so much of it, right, is on the ball of that foot, right? Now, again, it's very difficult to do that. It's not easy, okay? But it's not necessarily the only way you want to be practicing that, right? And again, the walking around thing, this is not something that you can do against a really high-level fighter here, right? And he does this to avoid having the pendulum step, right? See him try to make that slip right there? Now, again, he has some experience, and he may be able to trick Canelo a couple of times, right? See him slip, bring his weight to the back foot, right? But again, when he slips his weight to the front foot here, you got to bring your hands with you. You can't slip across the line and not have your hand with you, because if you get feinted here and you get hit with the left hook, and again, Canelo loves that punch, right? He loves the 2-3, right? Feinting 2 into a hard 3. So again, I think it's fun. It's an interesting drill for Caleb Plant. Now here, bring his hand with him, right? Again, you can't rely on switching positions in front of your opponent every time. You can't. Every time your opponent changes positions in front of you, it takes a lot of energy to move off the line every single time. Sometimes you got to defend your position. And this is one of the ways that Caleb Plant needs to be interacting with this tool so that he doesn't have to be using so much of his energy. And again, that tool is going to translate directly into his opponent's jab, okay? Now, this is a very important idea, okay? Because if Canelo doesn't have access to his jab and his lead hand, he very well could lose this fight, okay? It's very important that Caleb Plant gets control of his Canelo's jab, especially when Caleb Plant doesn't have his lead hand forward, okay? Now, what we looked at again before, going back here, oh, Caleb Plant on the line with all these punches, a little bit of slip to the back foot, a little bit there, right? But here, circling with the lead hand, all right, come on, circle. Get back to your boxing. Oh, control, control, back foot, no control there. Control, jab. But when he circles, come on, just like you're going to fight like, I know, come on, any second now. All right, here he goes. Control, 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 right? He misses it there, but, you know, getting into position, right? Anyway, I think that if he can get that control, right? Now I want you to take a look at his position. This is really good for him. He's starting to get his way to the back foot when he controls with the lead hand. This may give him the actual quote-unquote height advantage he's seeking, okay? Now, again, one thing we want to think about is building a routine for our shadow boxing, okay? And again, the boxing seminar in the shadow boxing package, the black belt boxing one, will teach you about building your routine. And the actual package will build your first routine, will teach you what real shadow boxing is. And you'll get it by the end, you know. But anyway, good pendulum step trap, right? Get control of that jab, pendulum step, and attack, right? So if he can do this stuff against Canelo, he may actually have a chance at spoiling the fight, okay? Not at actually beating Canelo's ass, right? But outpointing him, maybe. About maybe not getting knocked out, maybe, right? But okay, let's go ahead and get back to that funny drill stuff. There's only like another minute of it. Again, get control of that jab. Control. This move here is the exact same as the lead hand control that he was doing before, right? Very, very difficult to do this stuff here. Now, I want to point out, this is pretty cool from him. Front foot, back foot, roll, pendulum step. Now, for the most part, Caleb Plant is going to try to fight Pretty nice. Slip to the back foot. That's supposed to be a pendulum step, but it's not that bad. If he can draw a jab from Canelo first, boom, 1, 2, off the line, maybe that move will work for him. Now, I want to point out, off the line, on the line. See how he gets hit right here? It's because he doesn't bring his hands with him, okay? I know people teach head movement without bringing your hands with you, but if he's here, how does he control this beat here, right? His head's there. If he brought his hand with him, it would catch him on the hand, right? And then he would be on this position here, the next beat, right? But you're not always, I mean, granted, you're, who, and first off, who the fuck is this fast? Who? Speed is more important than timing, right? Now, I don't want to, like, talk shit about his coach. I don't know anything about his coach, and, you know, his coach knows his fighter and all that bullshit, whatever. What the fuck is this guy doing? Why is he throwing that thing so fast at him, right? Give him something to work with, right? Put it in his face. Make him actually move his head. Now, again, beautiful. That was really good. He does not bring his hands, okay? Bad. Gets to the line. Catch. Catch. Slip. Beautiful. Okay? A much better demonstration of what he should be doing. Now, real quick, you guys, if you're enjoying the flow in this kind of fight, except for all the sales stuff, I don't do that on my Patreon usually. If you're enjoying this type of film study, check out Patreon. There are literally like 500 or 600 videos in there, all like this, okay? All coaching. Lots of them watching trainers fight and watching fighters train and coaches coach. Lots of really cool stuff, okay? It's a really, really different kind of environment than YouTube, and it has a very low turnover rate, okay? Most people who enjoy the kind of content, when they get there, they enjoy it a lot, okay? Now, I want to show you here, okay? Boom, 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 okay? And here, right? What we were just showing here, how when it gets here, he goes, catch. He's even catching on the way there. Catch, catch, off the line. How that motion is very similar on his pad work here. Boom. With these beats that he's trying to create as he moves from the front foot to the back foot. Front foot to the back foot. Front foot to the back foot. Right hand, control, control, pendulum, right hand. Control, control, right hand. Control, control, right hand. Now, as I play this, I want you guys to think about how similar this little pattern is to the Fouts boxing line drill, okay? And how we practice our shadow boxing, okay? Now, him throwing those two left hands, that's not easy for control. Boom, boom, right hand, boom, boom, right hand, boom, boom, right hand, boom. This is a pretty tough routine, okay? It's not easy, but I want to say it's easier when someone's holding the pads for you than it is to shadow box it, okay? Because they're going to catch and block some of your weight and give you the beat and rhythm for you to learn to change positions by showing you the snap, okay? It gets a little bit easier to do that stuff with someone on the pads. But I want to point out that the drill he's doing, again, is a very simple drill. We do one very similar on the Fouts boxing line drill, right? Jab, jab, right, right, jab, jab, right, right. That's the one that we usually do, right? Here he's doing right, jab, jab, right, jab, jab. Okay? But all these drills you can do in your shadow boxing. It's no big deal. Again, real quick, if you guys want to learn how to hit the mitts and how to hold the mitts, how to be a more effective mitt holder, but also hit the mitts more effectively no matter who is holding the mitts for you. Okay? Check out the mitt package that I do with Theo. I think it's over here, right here. It's only 9 drills, okay? But the way that you think about pad work is going to change for the rest of your life, okay? It's really, really, really cool stuff, okay? It's very, very, I'll say, undervalued for what you're getting, and you're just getting so much more than you think you do, okay? These are not just like, oh, let's hang out and let's do this stuff. I put a lot of thought and a lot of time into developing the system. And again, it teaches you from the ground up how to do these kinds of drills to get the most out of your workouts. Again, now anyway, I know I said that was the last time. My bad. But there are some things in here that he needs to learn about positioning and how to get more out of his punches and his routine. Okay, now right here, real quick, jabbing, maybe controlling the line with his rear hand. So I like his stance. I like what he's going through and what he's trying to do here so far. Crossing the line with his right hand, not too bad. But I want to point out that after he throws this shot, he's on the line. Okay, now this is not something that's typical of Caleb Plant, because Caleb Plant likes to be like the boxer style, right? He wants to get on the line and off the line really quick. So he's just not using all that energy here to fly off the line in whatever direction he chooses, but usually he has pretty decent defensive responsibility, and he throws many, many, many less right hands than he is in his training. Now, real quick, I know that he's very good defensively with his jab, but I don't actually know too much about his defensive responsibility for his right hand, because I do know that he likes to follow his right hand up with the left hook a lot, and I think that his left hook is going to be very dangerous for him because he does get stuck on the line with that a lot. Now, I want to point out here, jab, catch, jab, right? Catch, jab on the mitts. Very fun, very, very cool drill, okay? And he's going to practice it, catch, jab, pull counter, okay? So this is going to be telling us, number one, obviously, that he's going to be looking to box with Canelo, right? Make positional advantages, counter him, and set traps, right? Now, this drill that he's doing here, this one here, catch, jab, right? Boom, boom. That's something that he can do almost exactly from his shadow boxing here as he's circling to the right here, right? As he takes a step, and if a jab comes, he can just bring that right glove, catch, and then shoot his jab, right? So what he's practicing on the mitts, even though we're not seeing him move around on the mitts and doing it, is a really easy trap that he can set for that type of movement, right? That type of circling. So I do expect Caleb Plant to be circling to the right. If I was his coach, I would tell him to almost exclusively circle to that direction until Canelo starts finding, I don't want to say finding some good punches, right? Because you don't want to start getting hit before you make an adjustment. But forcing Canelo to really, really open up and pendulum step to chase him, right? Because if he's circling this way, how is Canelo going to be circling that way too, right? It's going to change the dynamic of Canelo's, most common movement, right? And it may give Caleb Plant, being the taller fighter, the opportunity in the space he's looking to not only avoid real danger, but maybe land some jabs and set some pull counter traps too. Again, the pull counter is a really, really cool trap that works best if you are circling to the right, okay? There you go. So shooting the right hand, boom, 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 and then rolling under the hook, okay? Now, this is going to be something that he needs to do quite often. If I was Caleb Plant, I would be thinking about this combination not as, oh, I need to punch him in the face, but I want to throw that right hand there as a probe, and I want him to throw a hook at me, right? I want to engage Canelo, and when Canelo's attacking me or he's putting pressure on me, I want to shell him up, right? I want to probe. What's he thinking? Is he going to let me control the space? Is he going to counter me? No? Okay, I'm going to probe him with the right hand, and I'm going to wait for him to throw a hook at me, right? And then you roll out, and you take the space created by the hook to get off the line with him, right? So I think that might be a strategy that Caleb Plant uses to create some space, right? Now, obviously look for him to actually land that punch too, right? But don't expect it to do a lot of damage, okay? But it may be an effective tool for him if he uses it correctly to create some space similar to here, right? Boom, roll, off the line, boom, 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 control, right? Very similar motions here. Playing this little pattern game with him, right? To learn to transfer his weight. Now, I want to say real quick, most of what Caleb Plant does is pretty sneaky shit off the line, right? But if he can draw a counter from Canelo, which is obviously his game plan, these kinds of drills that he practices, because we see him practicing the boxing ones too, right? But we see him practicing these drills. Sometimes he surprises his opponents and gets on the line with them and sets, pretty aggressive traps for his opponents. So again, a little bit of that trap stuff coming up here as he's looking to set up combinations, control the line, and then step off, and then immediately start attacking again, right? Notice he boom, 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 throws a controlling punch, roll the right hand, and then comes up countering, right? Throws a controlling punch. Is he going to do it again? Do the combo again. Anyway, like a probing right hand, rolls under it, right? Okay, all right. Circling to the right, pull counter, right? Okay, there you go. So again, exactly what he's going to be practicing and looking to do against Canelo. Now, easier said than done, sure. But Canelo has one of those problems with his jab sometimes that he likes to overcommit with it. Okay? Now, I want to say that his coach's body mechanics are not nearly as good to really emulate some Canelo-like motion with the mitts. But I do think that the positioning is adequate enough for him to understand what he's trying to do. Okay? And I think he has enough experience. It may be a good fight. It may be a good fight. Again, Caleb Plant has some very, very serious defensive flaws that he needs to avoid, right? And again, circling to the right, I think is very good for him, right? See how easily he can just get off the line? And when he's taking a step, he's going to be following his weight off the line this way, right? Boom. That's away from his opponent's right hand, right? No matter what, right? Anyway, some good drilling here. This kind of drilling helps you learn to focus on the line and find where the line is and learn, to continually look for the line, right? Not all this stuff is very good pad work, though. Again, his head is on the line for so much of what he's doing. And there's just not a lot of defense here, right? Is this defense here? Those jabs, right? What are they there for, right? Now, I know I see what he's doing here. Trying to get control, right? Set a body shot. Notice he doesn't move his head, though, right? I know there's a little bit of shoulder swaying, right? And he's kind of going from what I call neutral 1 to neutral 2 and neutral 2 to neutral 1. But again, one thing that we talked about earlier, right? He doesn't really transfer his weight, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at some of this stuff again. Where's that shit at? He doesn't really transfer his weight when he's punching. He just stays on the line, right? I gotta go farther back now. Okay. Little bit of slips here and there, right? Boom, boom. Little bit of moves, right? But mostly not getting off the line, right? Not really slipping, not really crossing the line. And this is going to be really dangerous for him, okay? Now, I see what he's doing here too. Control, right? I think that's boom, boom. And then his opponent slips his jab here, right? His opponent slips it, and now he's rolling, right, to get control of the head, to find a shot. Boom, boom. I think that's what he's doing. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. But anyway, Caleb Plant is in for a world of hurt, I think. I think he's going to do well in the beginning of the fight. But one problem that Caleb Plant has is that he tries to move around. Now here he is practicing countering the uppercut here. Or practicing countering the body shot here. Right? With the uppercut. Now, Canelo likes to counter the jab with the left hook to the body. So that might be what they're drilling here, right? I can't tell if Caleb Plant throws a controlling jab first and he slips it, and that's what they're supposed to be drilling. But it could be. Now again, look at this right hand here. Look at how Caleb Plant, his head is in the middle. It's not even on the front foot, okay? He doesn't even transfer his weight across the line. He doesn't get any weight into this punch. Again, we just saw him do a lot of really good things, okay? But not understanding where his weight is supposed to be in relation to his target, understanding how to transfer his weight. Again, not understanding these things is going to cause a huge problem when it's live action and your opponent is Canelo Alvarez and not this guy in a hoodie. Okay? Now, again, if you guys want to check out the pad work seminar, you'll learn all those things. You'll learn the correct way to do it. But yeah. To be honest, I actually had a lot of fun watching his workout. There was some double in bag work as well. Control, control, probing shot, rolling. Control with the body shot into a left hook to the head. Now again, most of the time he's just moving off the line, right? But sometimes he surprises you, okay? Now, I don't think that he's going to hurt Canelo. I don't think that he's going to stop him. But I do think that there's going to be a couple of rounds where he's going to be like, oh shit, should we get some money on this? Should we? Did we make the right decision? Okay? And because Caleb Plant doesn't move his head, because he doesn't really use all of his pendulum step, because he does so much stuff on the ball of his feet, okay? Because so many of his weight transitions revolve around that kind of athleticism, that kind of use of energy, okay? That doesn't mean that you're more athletic because you do it, okay? Because it's the same whether you do it or I do it, okay? Even if you're better than me, right? But you're going to be using so much more energy to do it this way, right? Even if you are faster, it's not like you're using exponentially more energy being on the balls of your feet trying to throw your weight around like this, okay? It's really hard, and it leads to some other really bad habits, okay? So again, I think what's going to happen, Caleb Plant is going to do pretty well early. He's going to counter. He's going to catch some jabs. He's going to land some decent shots. And then Canelo's going to land a body shot. And everyone's going to go, oh, right. Canelo can just do that too, right? Maybe he'll throw a couple more, right? And Canelo may get, I don't want to say a little embarrassed, right? But I keep saying it. He may get a little behind in the first 2-3 rounds. But because Caleb Plant doesn't use proper body mechanics, because he has all this extra fat in his pendulum steps, in his movements, in his walking around, right? I think he's going to run out of energy. And I think what's going to wind up happening is he's going to be circling around away from his opponent, and he's going to do some shit like this, okay? He's going to do this, and he's going to be tired, and he's going to be turning his back, okay, away from Canelo, and he's going to be like, what? Like Floyd Mayweather did, okay? He's going to be ducking below the waist, and it's going to get ugly, and I think that he's going to get warned for it, or he's just going to get dropped, okay? I don't think that he's going to be able to last. I don't think that the way that he transitions and carries his weight is going to allow him to be an effective opponent for Canelo for more than a few rounds. And I want, if Mike Tyson says that everyone fights hard for the first 3 or 4 rounds. Everyone does. Everyone has enough energy, if you're a professional level fighter, to do a 12-minute boxing sprint, okay? I know. I used to do it when I first had to learn to fight right-handed. I tried to be on the balls of my feet all the time too. I wasn't used to fighting right-handed because I'm a left-handed guy. But my coach wanted me to fight right-handed, so I tried it. And in order to learn, right, I had to keep all my weight on the balls of my feet so I could even feel weight transitions, right? But as you get better, you learn to use your weight and manage your weight in more different and efficient ways. And again, Caleb Plant still hasn't gotten there yet. But Canelo has. Canelo, for the most part, transfers his weight really well. And I think that he's going to find a way to transition his weight into Caleb Plant's face, or into his body, as soon as Caleb Plant starts to slow down. And I know that Canelo used to have problems with stamina as well, right? Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember that? It was a few years before my channel, right? And he used to try to be on the balls of his feet a lot of the time too. Okay? It's a very common problem. And I think that a lot of people try to learn that style of being on the balls of your feet all the time, especially when you're learning to pendulum step, right? Especially when you're learning the first, kind of motion of that shuffle move, right? But it's very important that you learn not to do that on the balls of your feet, that you learn to do that correctly and transfer your weight into your heels. Otherwise, you'll never learn to catch and throw your weight around, right? But anyway, I do think that Caleb Plant has a chance, okay? I don't think that... The one thing that I think is not going to work out for him super well is if he tries to hold Canelo, okay? If he tries to hold Canelo, and he's not a holder, right? But if he tries to hold Canelo not being a holder, I think he's going to be bigger than Canelo and strong, but I think Canelo's going to be able to find him with those little tiny shots. I think Canelo is a good enough striker that there's not really a good chance for Caleb Plant to spoil the fight holding. And ducking below the waist is going to be really difficult for him because, again, he's bigger than Canelo, right? So, he may be able to get the space away from Canelo with his head, but I don't think he's going to be able to get it away from him with his body. And again, when he does things like this, circling these moves here, do you think you can just stop in front of an opponent here with your hands down, right? Where are you transitioning your weight when you get attacked here, right? So anyway, I expect Caleb Plant to tire and then make some fundamental mistakes that cost him the fight, okay? That's what I expect. But I do expect him to have a decent showing. I do think that he's training kind of decently, right? There's a lot of room for growth still. A lot of room for growth in his weight transitions. A lot of room for growth in his power. His technique is not very good. Again, check out the Pendulum Boxing series. It has videos to teach you guys how to hit the heavy bag and how to hit the heavy bag with power. It also has drills to teach you how to get pendulum power and how to learn pendulum boxing from the ground up. Again, a series of drills to kind of teach you. It's really cool stuff. So, again, promo code 30 for anything in my shop. Go ahead and check them out. And, the links are in the description. Thanks, guys.